Okay, so we have here the Ace of Pentacles, and this is pretty much a new income generating opportunity. This can be a new job. This can be a new business venture. This can be a new like opportunity for you to really break out. Okay. The Ace of Pentacles has a lot of potential to grow. It's linked up with the Chariot card, which basically means major career advancement, a major boost to your standing, to your professional standing, to your level of recognition. And it's a situation where things happen really fast with this Chariot, where your career and your professional life is going to be greatly enhanced and accelerated. However, that's where I feel there's like a situation here where it's a little bit menacing and threatening. They might feel like you're planning to leave. And so they're dangling, the low-lying fruit. They're dangling it, it's almost like I feel like a caramel apple, okay, dangling it in front of you. And they're telling you, oh, in 6 months, you're going to have this job. In 6 months, we're going to have this new office built out and you're going to get one of those offices. So they're promising you things that in the greater scheme of things do not have very much substance. And all it's showing me here is, the temptation. The temptation to stay in your current predicament because of everything that was promised to you. And, this snake, he's coiled up, he's plump and he's happy, he's content. And so I feel like there's a situation here where you could be staying put because you're just content. And the people in your environment, they know that you have a lot of potential and they know that you're planning to leave or they know that you have other offers. And so they're trying to, lure you in. They're trying to keep you satiated and happy. But I do feel like it's at the expense of your true total development. Okay. So I feel like there's something else in the picture that is a lot better for you. And you need to go ahead with this option because I feel that it's almost a situation where I'm sensing, if our ultimate goals in life is to develop ourselves to the best of our potential, this has a lot more growth potential. Whereas this situation here with the devil, it's a lot more about comfort and stability and ease and the facile way in which you can get things done. But it's all about, it can be safe and comfortable, but you're not developing to your full potential. So you have the potential to, choose options here as it relates to your work. And I do sense that it is in your best interest to really look at the situation, not just immediately what's in front of you, the little trail of candy or the picking up like the candy here and there, like immediately a foot in front of you. You have to look at this long term, 5 years, 10 years. Where do I want to be? And how is this new thing going to facilitate my path to getting where I want to be 5 and 10 years down the line versus where I am right now? And how is that going to facilitate, the path for me further down the line? So I feel like you have some major decisions here that you need to make as it relates to kind of like stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit and going for something that has a lot more abundance further down the line. Okay. I also feel for many of you, this is playing out in a love relationship type of a situation. I feel like one partner is hitting a major career stride. Okay. One partner is getting a lot of recognition, a lot of fame, a lot of, just a lot of success. And then the other person is like trying to catch up. Okay. So it's a series of like, one person's constantly, 20 meters ahead and the other person's trying to catch up. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like you or your partner, you guys kind of like, inspire each other towards greatness. You guys are kind of bouncing off each other in a way where it's like in the spirit of friendly competition. Okay. And then I also feel a partnership where the goals and the ideals and the path in the relationship it's starting to diverge a little bit. One person wants this, possibly, the stability, wanting to settle down, wanting to buy property and staying put, while the other person is still interested in um, uprooting, transplanting, trying to, pick up new opportunities here and there, learning different languages. I feel for many of you, wanting a different career path, wanting to kind of bounce around. So I feel like there is an ideological kind of like opposition between you and a relationship partner in terms of where you want to go ultimately. I do sense one person is very comfortable with the status quo and the other person might be a little bit bored out of their mind. Okay. And I feel like the two of you, I don't see like a fracture or issues or problems inherent in the relationship. But I do feel that you are starting to realize that you both might want different things out of life. And you're still in a position where you love each other and you want to compromise. And you're trying to find ways to, fit both of those goals into a common framework that will allow the two of you to stay as a couple. What I have here is the Lovers, choices, decisions, but more than anything, this is a situation where two partners are very, very different. Okay, night and day. The energy is very complementary, very different, but complementary. And so we have as well the Chariot, which is extremely opposites. Okay, the black and the white horse, ideological differences, career paths that might require one person to settle down, the other person to travel the world, for example. I also see vast, immense cultural. I see a lot of interracial couples. I also see a lot of like cultural like considerations, like cultural issues even that might affect the relationship. I also feel like one person might be in a spirit of like nesting, wanting to create a home, wanting children, wanting stability, wanting a stable 9 to 5 job, wanting not to have to shuffle around so much. And the other person is kind of like wild, like the stallion, wanting to travel, wanting to see the world, wanting to see what's around the next corner, wanting to explore and to live a little bit more of a nomadic lifestyle. So I feel that there's definitely, things that needs to be worked out between you and a relationship partner, so that the two of you can reach a little bit more harmony in this relationship. I feel like your partner is very comfortable. Pisces, I feel like your partner wants status quo. I feel like your partner is resistant to change. And I feel that you have been really trying to appease your partner. Okay, you've been like, I don't want to say bent over backwards, but you've done a lot. You're very easygoing. You're very like go with the flow. And so whenever your partner suggests something, you are just like, okay, I'm in. And then I feel like over time, you are not 100% happy with the trajectory of the relationship. And you feel like you want a little bit more, but you're also very passive about what more entails, or you're not able to conceptualize what more means to you, because you were always at the whims of the partner. Does that make sense? So I feel like there's a situation here where some of you could be getting a huge taste of success. Okay, you're getting a lot of recognition in your environment, in your work environment. You're getting a lot of support. You're getting like standing ovation. I feel for many of you, you're making great strides in your career. Your reputation is like precedes you, and you're getting a lot of recognition. But I just feel like your partner, they're not at your workplace, so they see you as the the Piscean person that's their partner. They don't see all your contributions in the workplace, and I feel like they might not even identify with that public persona that you have in the workplace. And so when they're congratulating you, they might say, oh, you look really nice today. You look very attractive. Or, this food that you put on the table is really, really good. They're not really congratulating you or complimenting you on the things that you feel you've worked really hard to achieve. Does that make sense? So I feel like you have a partner here that's seeing only one side of you, and try as they may, they don't really know the other side. They know you in the personal sphere, in the home, in the couple relationship. They don't see you as the worker, as the person who's really, a major player in your field. Okay. So I feel like there is definitely, a love situation here where you feel almost like you're not being seen, as a whole person. And either that, or you feel like all of your emotional needs are not being met. And I feel like you might have communicated with your partner. And I'm getting a very patronizing, I don't like this energy. It's a very patronizing type of a partner that you're dealing with, where, they treat you almost like in a very childlike way, where, they're like, oh, it's like downplaying, brushing aside your concerns. When you say something, they're like, oh, it's just your imagination. It's almost like they don't take you seriously. They don't take your concerns seriously. They don't really take everything that you have to say to heart. And I feel like you're starting to also become very exasperated when you're dealing with this person. I do see a little bit of irritability, and I do see a little bit of like, patronizing type of energies in this relationship. I don't feel like they are aware of it, and I don't feel like they mean it. I feel like this is something that should be brought to their attention, because they're not really aware of it's not their intention to brush things off. It's not their intention to, minimize your concerns. It's not their intention to belittle you. I don't feel that at all with this person, but I feel like they're protective, okay? And they might have like a very strong paternal, also maternal instinct when it comes to you. They're very protective of you. They like to take care of you. And so when you voice your opinion, I feel like they're in a position where it's like, I'll make it go away. You don't have to worry. Don't worry. I'll fix this situation. So they're constantly playing that leader role. And I feel like they start to embody it, and they feel like you're not in a place to make decisions for the couple or for the relationship. So I definitely feel here, there's like, power, like very subtle power dynamics in a relationship that might not be 100% healthy. And I feel like it needs to be talked about. It needs to be, the light needs to shine on it, so that we can kind of work through this problem, and then we can proceed in a more healthy fashion by balancing out the power dynamics in this relationship. Okay. So that's the first thing. I'm sensing for some of you too, there might be, there might be another connection in the relationship. I feel like there might be another person entering the relationship where you have a really strong emotional connection with. This person gets you. They have a lot of insights and they have a lot of wisdom. So I have here the Chariot and the Hermit. And I feel like there is a pull here towards this Hermit energy. You're dealing with somebody who's very successful. They show up as the Magician. Okay. This is somebody that's really capturing your attention. Okay. Notice the eyes. This is someone who's very good at their craft. They're very, it's like showmanship. It's not just fluff and air. There's substance behind the things that they do. I usually think of the Magician as someone who is very articulate, somebody who's really good at what they do. They've mastered their craft. Okay. Somebody who's highly educated. If they're not educated, like, with a diploma, a degree, a master's degree, a PhD, then they're very well read. They're very knowledgeable, and they're very charismatic because they command other people's attention, right? And I feel as well, it's linked up here with the Hermit. It's somebody with a lot of wisdom, with a lot of insight. So in addition to being very powerful, to being very charismatic, they also have a lot of wisdom, a lot of insights. And I feel like this person is definitely interested in you. I feel like you're dealing with somebody who might have recently gotten out of a relationship or gotten out of a marriage, gotten out of a broken engagement, might recently have gone through a divorce. And so they're not in a position where they want to, enter another relationship. But I definitely see a mutual admiration, looking at each other, glancing at each other from across the room. For some of you, this might be somebody in your work environment. This might be like a manager, supervisor, somebody up the chain of command, somebody who is in a position of power and authority. And I feel like they're very iffy. They're very hesitant about entering, workplace romances. And I definitely feel like the two of you have really captured each other's attention. And the two of you have really, I definitely see like, I don't see like the flirtation, but I do see, mutual interest. Energetically, you are picking up this person's attraction towards you. They likewise are sensing that about you. But I feel like one person, it might be you, one person is already tied up, is already hanging on to something, not able to let go, even though the feelings are there. And then the other person is in a position where they're not interested in entering a committed, solid relationship because they got out of something just like that. And they're not in a position where they can give of themselves just yet. Okay. So I feel like this is indicating to me like the timing might be a little bit problematic. You have to work through your relationship issues here, and they have to, deal with whatever that has recently been shaken up in their world, either like a divorce, a broken engagement, or whatever that situation might be. They need to go through it, and they need to kind of sort their feelings out before they can enter into a relationship. But I do feel there is an attraction. It might be like a third party type of a pull, pulling you away from this situation or pulling you away from a partner. I feel like you're meeting somebody who's like a very strong, who you have a really strong sense of like chemistry with. Okay, you look at this person and like they understand you. Okay, you don't even need to speak, you don't even need to, it's like that twinkle in their eyes or the nod of acknowledgement. It's like you guys have this unspoken non-verbal communication style where you understand the other person. And then in juxtaposition to that, you're looking at your relationship partner and you're thinking that this person doesn't really understand me. We're like the two wild horses, okay? Different breeds, different tribes, different goals in life, different aspirations, different dreams, and, wanting the different things in our future. So I feel like there is definitely, you're being coaxed, you're being lured away, you're being, I want to say tempted by somebody else that you have a really strong magnetic, emotional, spiritual, and physical connection with. Okay. I don't see things being acted on. I don't see anybody doing anything inappropriate to kind of like dishonor an existing relationship, or anybody overstepping their boundaries to, inject themselves and break up a relationship. I don't see a home wrecker. I don't see anything like that. But I definitely feel that you are encountering somebody and the bond is very undeniable, and you're starting to, your relationship with this new person is making you assess your current existing relationship, whether or not you are 100% happy. Okay. On the other hand, I also feel like somebody is clinging on to you very tightly. We have here the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles, especially in this deck, it's like all the different factors that go into making a decision. Okay. Do I stay or do I go? Do I stay in this situation where it's comfortable? Because the Four energy is all about balance. It's all about reciprocation. It's all about a situation where things can be very, very comfortable and solid and balanced. But if we stay in it too long, it gets a little bit stagnant. Okay. All these pentacles are sinking, right? It's like quicksand. And there is definitely something that we need to act on. And if we allow the situation to drag on, all those pentacles, everything we've worked really hard at to maintain, to secure, to produce, to build up, it starts to sink into the sand, and all you're left with is the ribbon. And the ribbons, you know, they're just they're not of value. So I feel like there's a situation here where a decision needs to be made, and a decision about your finances, a decision about your work, a decision even about a relationship partner. If it's a love decision, it's either do we open up and let our walls down and communicate, or do we close ourselves off and ignore this connection as if it's, and ignore the pull or the allure or the connection, okay? If it's a decision when it comes to finances, it's sort of like everything is sinking into the sand. If you don't act on this decision or this choice might not be on the table a week from now, a month from now, 4 months from now. So I feel like there's definitely a decision here. If it's finances, it needs to be acted upon. On a lighter note, well, actually, depending on which side of the coin you are in, on a different note, okay? Let's just say on a different note. I feel like for many of you, especially if you have been, if you have some major repairs within your household, you need to, contract or call a few contractors and shop around for rates. It's okay to do that during the November period. The Mercury retrograde period is going to be all throughout November. It's not the ideal time to get repairs, but it's okay because I feel like this is something that you might have been neglecting. You might have not thought was very important. I do see housing repairs, housing situation, neglected repairs that needed to be done a while back. And for whatever reason, you might have been very busy, whatever the reason might be, it just wasn't done. And so Mercury retrograde periods, I feel, it's notorious for old things to, come back and haunt us. Things that we should have taken care of, things that we should have done our due diligence to do the research on. I feel like there's something coming in here when it comes to housing situation, repairs, moving, packing, unpacking, getting all your things sorted out, because it's coming up here as the Tower. And the Tower indicates to me a fracture, a weak foundation that's crumbling, okay?